Hey, what's up guys? It's Enrique here. I'm gonna start off by doing a quick sketch of a alien soldier. Right now I'm kind of doing the broad strokes here. I'm going in with a soft brush. I'm cutting things out. I'm trying to find the silhouette because the silhouette's gonna really define the way the character ends up looking like. Trying to figure out what position for the hand. Maybe I want one gun up. Kind of settle for that one, that position. And now I'm going to go in with the white brush, and I'm going in with the kind of a harder brush this time. It's not really a big deal. I'm just laying into lines, cutting out some edges. I'm trying to go deeper and deeper into the small details, and I'm just kind of mapping things out and where they're going to end up. And I want him to be really funky looking. I want his face to be monster-like. So, but I still want him to be humanoid. You know. Monsters are probably one of my favorite things to do. And I think a lot of kids and people that start drawing do it too, because it's such an easy, it's so easy when you start it, you know. You can create anatomy, you can just make things up. There's no rules to follow. I mean, then again, art isn't really about rules per se. It's about, I think it's Robert McKee that said, art, it's about, there's principles and there's rules. Principles say that this works, and it's worked throughout time when people have tried it. A rule is that you have to do it this way. So we're really dealing with principles here. You know, that things that we've done this way do work, and they have worked for people. Alright, right now I'm going to the skin tone. I'm trying to be random with my skin tones when I go in there. I'm trying to make it scratchy. I'm going with a soft brush, but it's kind of a smaller soft brush. I want maybe a light protruding from his mouth. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sharpening the edges. See, like right there, that black. I'm sharpening the edges, and that'll make it look like the light's coming from behind inside his mouth there. Going over the armor more. I'm slowly trying to figure things out. Put a shine on that big old bulbous eyeball he has. That kind of like funky eye. So schooling, people always ask me if you need to go to school maybe just to learn to draw in general. I think you do. I've known a lot of guys who didn't go to any school at all, and they're amazing, you know. But the vast majority, at least, just to speak in generalities, I've seen the guys that go to school get better much faster. Right now I'm putting in some highlights, trying to make it seem like there's some lights. I'm doing that with a soft brush and pushing pretty hard on it too. I'm going down and changing things as I go along, because sometimes when you stare at it for a while, some things just start to not work for me. Like, I think his waist is a little too big right now. I'm going to try to change that. Thin him out a little bit. So back to the question, school. Yeah, school, I think it's a good thing. And if you don't at school, at least have another artist that's a little bit better than you or much better than you. Kind of guide you, maybe kind of mentor you. And I know it's really hard to find somebody to do that. But you can do it online. There's so many guys online that are willing to just mentor people, or at least give them, give advice. Because there was times where I knew the information, you know what I mean? Like, I looked at the tutorials, I know exactly what they're doing, per se, at least they're saying it, but I can't do it still. I can't get my hand to do it, or I can do it and it just doesn't look right, and I don't know why. You know, a lot of that goes away with repetition. You know, the more you do something, the more, but okay, there's kind of a deal with that though. You can repeat something over and over. If you don't have a teacher there, chances are, and there's a good chance that you're gonna ingrain some really awful habits that you have. And I've seen that a lot too with people that are 50 or 60 years old. older artists, and I'll see them, and they've been drawing for 50 years, they say, or something like that, and they can't draw at all. Their drawing sucks. It's like, man, how you've been drawing for 40, 50 years and you suck? Like, I mean, I don't say that, but I'm thinking that. I just find it kind of surreal. So that's usually coming from not having an instructor, that knows what he's doing or knows what to tell you, or but if you repeated over and over and over, and you had someone else there, another pair of eyes, an instructor, or whatever, mentor, that was saying, hey, you keep drawing your noses all the same, or you keep drawing this pattern over and over in everything you do, and it's kind of annoying. I mean, you could, sometimes, even if it looks nice, or you keep making people's heads too small or too big. You need someone from the outside, an educated, view. Although normal people can tell you something's wrong too, though. I mean, everybody's got an intuitive thing. My sister, she can't draw a stick figure. She can't draw anything really. She draws like a 5-year-old, and she'll notice when my picture looks odd. She'll just be like, oh, something's funky with the arm, or something's funky with the leg there. It looks really long, or something like that. Like, she'll know something's intuitively wrong, even though she might not actually know what's wrong. And that helps too. So, I mean, don't get too big of a head. No matter where you are, you're gonna make mistakes. So it's kind of that balance of, don't be too full of yourself, you know what I mean, and also don't be too down on yourself, because I always see those. I see those two like way too much. That's like a disease in our art profession, or people that want to be artists, especially with concept art, because it's so technical. Don't be so down on yourself that you're like, oh, I suck, blah blah blah, this, and I'll never get better, blah. Don't be like that, and don't be like, you're king of the hill and you've completely passed up everybody. And one of the more humbling experiences I've had is I used to go to a junior college called Southwestern in Chula Vista, San Diego. When I went there, you're basically in the same school as anybody, basically people that are just doing art as a hobby, and I'm the only one that wanted to do it as a profession. So you're instantly the best person in class 9 out of 10 times. And this is a common story too. I mean, everybody I know, same thing. Everybody I know in different art schools, they're like, oh, they're the best one in their class at their junior college or even university, because some of them are not prepped to make artists. And yeah, then you go to a real, maybe big art school. I started going to Art Center, and right there you realize, wow, there goes. It's such a humbling thing to see everybody's like just as good as you are or better. In most cases they're better, because they've been through that school for a while. You go online to different websites and you'll see a lot of really amazing work. Right here, this is this robot design I'm doing. And it comes to design, this is just off the top of my head. It's pretty typical, it's nothing crazy. It's stuff that I find attractive personally, despite the monster head. I find it attractive, but I also find it not generic, it's a little better than that, but I would say it is a typical design. And make things original enough, but you don't have to make it completely original. Because when you get into working for video game companies or movie companies, they're gonna pay you. I mean, obviously everybody can. There's so many people that can draw, but they're gonna pay you for your ideas more than anything else. Like, what's the story to this guy that I'm drawing here? I was kind of thinking about it in my head. I wanted like an alien. Wanted him to be one of many. There's a bunch of him. I want him to be definitely alien, but I also want him to look kind of horrific. That kind of mismatched. One eye's giant. I want it to be kind of a factory experiment. Also, like maybe they're making a bunch of these guys and they're like engineering genetically all these soldiers, and one of them comes out as like a crappy batch, like, oh, this is a bad one, and so that kind of affects his character, that affects his appearance, that he's a factory mishap. or things like that. Every you can think about that before, or what you could do is kind of cheat it, which is what a lot of people do in the game industry. Is you're drawing the design. Well, I mean, if you're not being told what to do, you do the design. If it doesn't come out exactly like what you were thinking, change the story in accordance to the design. Which is kind of a cheat, but you can do it. Also, when you do something cool, let's say you draw something cool, right? Alien or whatever, or when someone asks you, hey, why did you do that? Why'd you put that like seashell or whatever on his arm, or why'd you draw this wire like that? Never ever say, I don't know. Never say that. You should always know. Even if you have to make it up on the spot, make up your reason if you have to. Because people like your things much more if if they know there's a purpose, which sounds crazy. And that's something I'm learning. I'm learning a lot right now about what purposes things have. Trying to be different but not too different. Because you're still got to be marketable. It's got to be recognizable. I mean, being original is good, but being original enough is good enough. They have to relate to it in some way, so it has to be somewhat familiar. Alright. Continuing the leg here. I'm not happy with the feet. I'm basically, through the whole thing, I'm only using 2 brushes. I'm using the very typical, but this is on Photoshop, by the way, if it's not obvious. I'm using the soft and the hard brush, and that is it. The 2 basic ones that are there, I'm just changing the size. I'm using the soft for kind of rendering on kind of like detailed parts, like, trying to smooth things out. I'm using the soft. And the hard is trying to carve out edges, and that is it. I don't really use many brushes. I should start, and I'm gonna start using many different brushes, but as of right now, I'm just using the 2 basics. I've heard several opinions about keeping a white background or not. I like it sometimes. I think it makes it look cool, but sometimes it also makes him look like he's standing in the Matrix. That room that Morpheus was in. So I'm gonna definitely throw in some gradation in the background, but not a whole lot. Gradient. Throw it in with a gradient. I'm going back, like right now, currently I'm going back to the eye. I'm constantly flipping my page back and forth because I want to see it with a fresh eye, Sometimes you're staring at too long, you don't know what's going on. I'm continuing to do this. Going, in and out, that kind of thing. Also, I don't know how this translates. Oh, there we go. Putting in the gradation now. Gradation tool, which is kind of the bucket tool. It's in that same panel. And I'm just throwing in like black, like dissipating to nothing. And I'm putting one on top and one on the bottom. Small one on top and then kind of a big one on the bottom. I think just to give him like he's standing in something. And continuing to do this layer. Continuing to just meddle and fiddle with things, because every time you're going through the picture, there's going to be something in there that bugs the crap out of you. Yeah, I'm going to see if maybe I can get that light to read better coming out of his mouth. I'm trying to toy with that. And that's about it, guys. That's it for the demo. I appreciate you sitting and listening to me, and please subscribe to my channel if you can. I'd love it. That'd be great. Also, share my video as well. I want to keep doing these, and I feel like I'm kind of contributing back. I got my own goals as well, obviously, but I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.